It's this moment that I think that we will remember as where we're really about to enter a new world.
Good morning again, everybody. Our next guest, as you all know, is the CEO and co-founder of Salesforce, Marc Benioff. Marc founded Salesforce in 1999. We were just talking about how old we are and how old we're getting.
Too old.
Too old. It's an incredible Fortune 150 company with 70,000 employees, the largest enterprise applications company in the world. It's always great to have you back at this conference. We always appreciate your being here. All right, so let's dive right into it, Marc. You talk to a lot of CEOs worldwide. You've got a lot of customers. Broadly, what are CEOs saying about their appetite to spend this year and next? Just give us kind of a download on the environment based on what you see and hear with your business footprint.
Well, I think there's a couple of big things going on, because I think that what has happened and what is about to happen is just extraordinary. And I guess about a decade ago, I had my first kind of super AI freak out, and I really thought AI was just about to happen. I grew up in the kind of the AI fantasy world. How many of you watch Minority Report? The movie, remember that? And what about War Games? Anybody remember that?
Got to be really old to remember that one.
Yeah. These people are not movie people, actually. It's interesting. How about The Terminator? Anybody? Her? What about Her? No. Okay, well, anyway.
I watched all 4 of those movies.
Okay, I know you do. Yeah, you and I are the same genre.
Yeah.
And the guy who wrote part of Minority Report and War Games is our futurist, Peter Schwartz, And, so a decade ago, we're kind of this AI thing, it's going to happen. Let's get going. And I kind of had this existential moment, and I started buying a bunch of companies, and we built this incredible platform called Einstein. And it was doing this predictive intelligence. It did, machine intelligence, machine learning, deep learning. And we started pioneering a lot of amazing things at Salesforce with AI. We started publishing models. We created prompt engineering, something we don't really get credit for, but the first prompt technology came out of our research team. And that's why, you can see we'll do 1.5 trillion Einstein transactions this week. Those are predictive and generative transactions. Now, still, though, it's not what I thought was going to happen. So I got a lot of value. Like, for example, when I do my calls, I do, forecast calls every Monday, and we have our leaders from all over the room. And then, I will say, hey, Einstein, all right, we've had everybody lay this down, but what is really going to happen? And that has been very good. And for the last few years, Einstein is by far our most accurate forecaster.
Okay.
And as you know, in running a business, this is actually really important. You want to know what the numbers are going to be, right? Are you with me on this?
Yes.
And the worst thing is when everybody is wrong. So that's been cool.
Which is often, by the way.
Yeah, and we do that, and then we apply that AI and that intelligence across all of our various customer touch points. We'll see everything you've bought online, everything in the store, everyone in the call center, every email you've done, on, and you have a whole customer 360 profile, and this. This is our mantra. And for the last 25 years, this has been the most important thing to us, automating every customer touch point. And that's what, has really excited me. And when we look at Louis Vuitton, or they have their brand that makes this suit is called Berluti, it's awesome. And they really do, we've really accomplished our goal. It's really cool. And it has been an honor to build our customers' sales forces with them, and their service forces, and their marketing forces, their commerce forces even, their analytics forces. And as we build these, forces for these customers, now I think we are on the verge of building something truly extraordinary for them. For the first time, is going to be their Agentforce. And for each of our customers that we are starting to work with, this is a new concept. It's completely different and totally new. And maybe it harkens back to these movies quite a bit. And I think that unfortunately, in the last couple of years, and we've seen the statistics. We spent this $300 billion in AI collectively at this industry, but then there aren't that many great CEO stories about how they're getting value from artificial intelligence. These CEOs just don't have, oh, and we got this for the $300 billion. And I'm like, just saying to myself, it's really interesting. And I think that there's been a few things that have gone on in the last couple of years that everybody needs to kind of get their head around, which is, it's cool to build your own model, okay, and train your own model, and then retrain your own model, and then train it again, and then retrain it again, and then retrain it again. And when you talk to customers who are doing this, I think they're wasting a lot of money. And I have seen this over and over again. And I think that the second piece is that these co-pilots that have been sold, and there's a pretty good Gartner report that came out this week, into these enterprises, that this is going to be their AI panacea, also are highly ineffectual, leak data, which is not something you like in your business, I know, have all kinds of trust and security issues, and don't have the level of, let's just say, these are not the droids you're looking for. Okay. So in my mind, that is what I'm thinking about.
Is Agentforce that droid we're looking for?
I'm going to get to it. Hold on there, Bruce. Don't give away the whole plot of the book, okay? So I think that there's one other piece, putting technology aside, that since the pandemic especially, and you and I have had these conversations ad nauseum, workforces are actually quite overwhelmed. And there's a lot of low-value work that is being done, and for sure, employers definitely want that premise of AI. And if you want to know who that is, you all have got doctors that you work with, or hospitals and so forth. And it doesn't matter what major medical organization that you work with or talk to your own. We work with them all. Doctors are super overwhelmed. They're burnt out, and nurses are burnt out. Something happened in the post-pandemic that we all got a lot more anxious about our healthcare, and we're like a lot more interactive with our doctors. Like, we'll get our labs, and then we have to call our doctor. Hey, what's this number? What's this? What's that? So there is a magic part here that's going to be very exciting, because there's no question that the vision that we all have for what the future can be is really just about to happen. And I believe it is happening. So next week, we will show our customers for the first time a platform called Agentforce. And why that is exciting is that they will be able to really see how humans with agents are going to drive customer success together. And this thought that you're going to work with an agent in your business is going to be an absolute reality for those clients. Today, that product already is with many customers. Now, in some cases, you're going to get productivity, like the seasonal workforces, you're extending the workforce, clearly. In some cases, you're going to augment the employee. There's no question. In all cases, you're going to increase the margin of the customer and the revenue. This is the droids that we're looking for. This is the vision that we want, where we want to be able to have much greater productivity, okay, much more efficiency, and drive our top line with AI. We just are at this moment. Now, why that is exciting is, as I said, for the last 25 years, we have been tirelessly automating the customer touch points of hundreds of thousands of customers all over the world. And this has been our passion. And for the last several years, what we've been doing is something incredibly important, which is building a data cloud, which allows us to amalgamate the data so that we can deliver this accurate AI, because you're not going to get the AI accuracy without the data and metadata. And the final piece is the agent. The agent then is going to provide that ability to connect with the customer in a whole new way. This is really, I think, the moment that I've been waiting for in enterprise software. because up to this point, it's been a world just like bots. And we've all had that bot experience where we go to the bot and don't even want to deal with the bot because it kind of flails out. This is not that experience. This is a phenomenal experience that I think customers are going to have a transformational moment for their businesses.
So take that, the implications of that as customers get onto the platform and they use it. How does it filter through to what happens in their business? How does it filter through into the terms of the size of their sales forces? How does it filter through in terms of the size of their marketing forces? You're obviously talking about things that make people more productive, but you're also talking about things that should create more efficiency too. It's hard to change processes in business. How do you think about how this will impact your customer base as people adopt this?
Yes, there's going to be efficiency opportunities, but there is going to be revenue opportunities like we have not seen.
More revenue and productivity with the same size force.
Who would not want this kind of capability? Mm-hmm. You have a great Salesforce, don't you?
We do.
And you've got a great service organization, don't you? Because I know we've been on the phone when things have gone wrong.
Yep.
But you're going to have a great Agentforce also. And no one does yet. And everyone will. This is really a moment in time, I think, that I have never been as excited about the historic moment. It's this moment that I think that we will remember as where we're really about to enter a new world.
So because of this, what does Salesforce look like 5 years from now that's different? How does it evolve Salesforce?
Well, I think that where Salesforce is going in terms of when we look at 5 years from now, the ability to deliver that agent, your agent, for your business, for your industry, for your sales organization, for your service organization, to build your own custom agent, for your own level of efficiency inside your organization, that in the same way that in the last 25 years, we've built a company now, we're giving guidance this year for about $38 billion in revenue. We've got about 75,000 people. I feel like we're a startup. I feel like this is the beginning of Salesforce. We've automated all these customer touch points. That's been step one. You can't do this without the data and the metadata. So that is key, that we have that. Two, we have to amalgamate the data. If you don't have the amalgamated data, you can't get to the accuracy on the AI. And the final piece is these agents. So what is the level of acceleration? What is the capability for all of our clients? All I know that for every single CEO that we talk to, every customer that we talk to, when we show them what is now possible, and it's not about that they have to go train a model or they do this kind of heavy lifting, the technical work. A lot of people have been running science experiments for the last 2 years in their businesses that they did not have to run. They did not achieve the efficiency that they wanted to achieve. They did not get to where they wanted to get to. You have to let enterprise software professionals and platforms evolve and mature to the point where we can deliver this capability. And I believe that we will inspire the next iteration of the whole industry. Everyone will have to fast follow us into this. You know, I think that in the case of what we've been able to invent in regards of the ability to kind of deliver these kind of extended RAG models and these next generation capabilities for these clients, when they get these hands on it next week, I think that they will be astonished. And this is my big bet that I'm making in my own mind. I was going through this we have a phenomenal engineering leader. This great person has been in the industry a long time and has been with us for a number of years and helped us architect quite a few things. Great person. And we're all so excited. I work obviously in a large team and an engineering team. And he came to me and said, you know, this is so big and so huge. Mark, you should change the name of the company from Salesforce to Agentforce. And I said, it's kind of a high risk maneuver. But his point was very, hit me really heavy, where it's like, I do believe, and I think everyone who's touched this technology believes this is that big. It's by far bigger than anything I've ever experienced. And when I talk to customers, like I'm sure even as you have fantasized in your own mind, it's going to impact every company. And our ability to deliver that immediately is going to be so exciting for us. And so that's what I'm super excited about.
Well, it's super exciting. It's bold ambition. And we're going to be excited to watch you make progress.
Really appreciate you having me. Thank you so much.
I really appreciate you doing it.
Look
Thanks a
forward to
lot,
seeing you.
Mark.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for being here.